Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. We're live and on the air, and we're going to slip down here to Chattanooga. Going to talk to the head coach of the Boyd Buchanan Buccaneers. He's in season 43. He is 71 years young. He's got 17 state championships, 486 wins. He went 13-1 last year, lost that last one, and that was in the state championship down in Chattanooga. We'll bring to the air live the head coach of the Boyd Buchanan Bucks, head coach Gary Rankin. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Hey, I'm good, Stork. Appreciate you having us on this early.
Just always a pleasure to talk to you. You know, when I sent that first schedule out, I had you down for 30 minutes. We could really talk for 30 minutes, but I know you don't want to talk to me 30 minutes on the air.
Gotcha, yeah. Not tonight anyway. Lost my voice a little bit the last couple of days, but hopefully we can get through this.
What happened? It wasn't anything yelling on any of the Buccaneers?
No, just some kind of chest cold, something, and it just took my voice away from me. Never felt bad, just lost the voice a little bit.
Well, that was question number one. The guy I just interviewed before he got on the air, Coach Kevin Creasy, asked me to make sure that question number two would be, you got a new offensive coordinator, so let's kick it off with that. Who is your new offensive coordinator?
Well, we don't have him yet, and I'm not at liberty to say anything because it's not really official. We've talked to two or three people.
Okay.
Our last year's offensive coordinator took the job at Meigs County. Nathan Simbeck, he did a great job for us when he was here. So, so we're trying to replace him. We were able to hire another couple of defensive coaches. So, the last 2 months has been pretty good for us as far as hiring and replacing some staff members. Offensive coordinator is not a done deal yet, so but we're working on it.
When you and you went through the same process you went through last year, didn't you, Coach? When you find out, maybe somebody's going to move on, or maybe relocate or do something a little bit different, you just start. You kind of got an idea where you want to go, don't you?
Yeah, I've got an idea. I've been doing this quite a while, and I know always got some people in mind in case something happens. And when you have a little success, people come looking at your people, and I understand that. And I'm all for guys trying to move on, better themselves, move up the ladder. So I've had that happen some, and always proud and happy that they can do that.
Now you got a big tree trunk out there and a lot of limbs on it. I mean, a lot of guys that have coached with you and under you and along right beside you, and all of them seem to be successful. I
do, and I had an interview this morning with somebody I'd never done one with, and they asked about the coaching tree, and really hadn't thought about it. It crossed my mind before, but I hadn't really spent much time thinking about it. But yeah, I've been so fortunate to have so many good coaches that have left and gone out on their own and become head coaches and coordinators. And I think at one time there was like 11 coaches that I had worked with that had gone on and become head coaches. So that's really exciting. It's really gratifying to me.
Yeah, and when you see them be successful, but not necessarily copy you, but take a little bit from you, and you kind of see in the background. You say you didn't know that until you got to me, and then of course you learned it or picked it up from somebody or mastered the trade, or like you said, studied a lot of film and books and went to a lot of seminars and so forth.
Yeah, I'm sure all of them took a little bit of piece of me, but I also took a little piece of them when they were working with me. So, I always look at it as a two-way street, and, I've learned so much from a lot of my assistants who I consider some of them better coaches than me. But that's one thing I've done a good job of. If nothing else, I think, through my career so far, is to hire, real good people and real good coaches.
When we go back last year and we start talking about that championship game, and you kind of knew and you kind of said it and kind of tried to let everybody know when you got there that necessarily you kind of arrived early, and I kind of get what you were saying. It's kind of arriving early as far as the program itself. You didn't, you're glad you get to the state championship.
Exactly.
But if you're not ready from a weightlifting standpoint and just a physical standpoint to go through those last few games and then rest that week and then be ready to prepare yourself and know what your Because when you got into the Alcoa and once you kind of got to the template there and you got it going, and then once the backfill, and then you knew who you was coming from 7th and 8th grade and 9th grade and the fill in. But once you get a program going, you talked about that in the article, and I think that's what you was trying to tell the fans that, hey, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we were awful young last year in a lot of places. We ended up starting 3 freshmen in that championship game on defense against one of the better offenses in the state and one of the most mature offenses in the state. I mean, we're looking at a team that had 35 seniors, and that's just an awful lot of experience and toughness and been there before. So, I think there's people in our community that think we're there right now because we got to the state championship game, but I can promise you we're not. We still have a lot of holes and a lot of foundation to be built. But, it was good to what we did last year. It created a buzz down here in Chattanooga around our program. We've had a lot of younger kids in 7th and 8th grade trying to get in our program because of our success. So there's always a lot of good things that go along with winning. But for us to think that we got there in year 2 and we got to the state championship game, but we ain't got our program where it needs to be in year 2 yet.
No, because for a fact, if somebody else already has a template and they're working from their template and they're backfilling and reloading as quickly as possible,
right?
And they've got the fundraisers and everybody already on board. It's not that those pieces and parts. It's everybody getting in a symphony and executing. But along with that, it's kids that you not only can go for the first round, but like you always taught me when you're at Alcoa, you got to have a great bench. You got to have people that are ready, that are on the sidelines to step in if something happens.
Exactly, and then 15 games, a lot of games in high school, but we've done a lot of things in January and February and a little bit in December about strengthening our program. Made some good hires. Trying to make a few facility upgrades here and there from small stuff. So, we're proud of where we are right now for sure, and pretty hungry and still working pretty hard to try to get us where we want to get.
Let's talk about the kids. When you look at the defensive side of the ball and you kind of look at what you've got right now today to work with, if you had to suit them all up, how many you got? How many you got coming back?
Our secondary's back intact, and that's always good. I'm not going to call any names tonight, but, we're looking at 7 or 8 back on defense, and we played pretty good defense all year. We got quite a few kids back on offense. Our offensive line is back intact besides one kid. Both our quarterbacks are back. We had six running backs that we tried to play some during the year. We got 4 of those back. So we have quite a few kids coming back. We've got some key pieces to fill here and there, but hopefully we'll be able to do that as time goes. But, I guess one exciting thing last year besides getting to the state championship was we were relatively, a pretty young squad.
Yeah. And you won some games where you were really close, but you might have should have lost those. But, Coach, it wouldn't have made a difference if you would have won or lost those. When you get to the state championship, you just didn't have enough horses or goons on that side of the ball to go get their goons. That's what it gets to.
No. I mean, we were outmanned, but everybody else in our class would have been outmanned too.
Yeah.
I mean, CPA was the class of our class, and it didn't matter if it was us or Luzanne or whoever it was, Franklin Road Academy, BGA, whoever it wasn't going to matter. CPA was the class of our deal last year, and it was pretty obvious. And they got great players and they got great coaches, and they've certainly worked and put themselves in that position.
What needs to happen, Coach, between now? You as you said, you kind of got a jumbled up spring because you got a lot of kids that are on your football team that participates in other sports. It's a little different at Boyd, and you'll do the best you can to mend that. But really, other than just the basics, I'd say you're looking at the same slogan every coach always says: the bigger, stronger, and faster. And that's got to happen at a different level for you to, it can't be like it was last year. It's got to be a little bit better than it was last year for this year's squad, doesn't it?
Exactly, and it certainly doesn't mean we have to be undefeated. We were 13-0, and there was a few games in there we certainly could have gone either way. So, but we're doing the things we think we need to do. You gotta have players to choose from. You gotta have bodies to build, and we're trying to get our numbers up a little bit. We weren't a big squad last year in numbers, and so we're doing all the things we think we need to be doing this time of year to get ourselves ready for another season. And our league's pretty tough. The private school league's pretty tough. Not only do you run into a lot of good players, you run into a lot of excellent coaches. So there's not many in our division that you can just line up and think you're going to outcoach them. So we certainly got our work cut out to try to get ourselves where we want to get to.
Well, and you got two other schools that are in your area that they can kind of pick from the pile too as they see fit, and they're not shabby. They got great programs.
No, not. I mean, Baylor McCally's the class of that class.
Yeah.
They've got some advantages. Anytime you can house kids on your campus and get them eligible overnight, that's got to be a great advantage for you. So, it's a fight out there every day to try to get kids to enroll in your school and visit your school. And so, but there's a lot of good private schools all over Chattanooga, a lot of good private schools in the Nashville area.
I didn't know it, but that Baylor's one of the only I think the only overnight school we've got where kids are actually living on the campus, right? McCally's a boarding school. Okay.
And Baylor is a boarding school, so they overnight there. And actually, Webb and Bell Buckle is a boarding school. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that. They're a really, really small school, but I think it showed some in their girls' basketball success. They actually had some kids from overseas that were playing at Webb Bell Buckle in girls' basketball in the last few years, and they were dominant with it too. So sometimes when you can put them up and house them, you got a little bit of advantage.
Was there a school out of Knoxville at one time that was a boarding that really housed kids?
Never.
Okay. In your career,
King's Academy. I'm sorry, not King's Academy. Boards kids.
Okay.
I think they do. King's Academy is a small boarding school.
Okay.
I don't know how many they board, but I forgot about them. But as far as I know, that's probably only 4 schools in the state.
Yeah. I mean, it's expensive, and then the risk and the insurance and so on and so forth. And
it's expensive, and Baylor McCallie on a different level than a lot of people in our state, with their resources and what they can do.
In other words, they've got an endowment from the people.
They've got all kind of resources to have some of the best programs, not only in the state but in the South, and they certainly have that.
Coach, you still pedaling 10 miles a day?
Getting back at it once the weather breaks a little bit. Back on that bicycle, yes, sure am.
All righty. Well, Coach, please be careful out there, and watch what you're doing, and hopefully we'll get down, and looking forward to talking to you this fall, and hopefully we'll get down and see you for a game.
It'll be here before you know it, Stork. Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you, and take care, and be safe.